Hey, what's up, everybody? Fun fact, I had a calendar event set up for this exact day for like the past 4 years because today is Shelbyville Head Above Water's 10-year anniversary, which is crazy. That makes me feel so old. It was back in March 2010 that we had our show and released this, and we recorded it in January of that year. Kevin and I drove out to Chicago and recorded at Jurassic Studios, which is where the Swellers recorded. And the entire reason for that is because they saw our covers of them on YouTube. We put out a couple covers of Sweller songs, and they saw them and they chatted us and they were like, "These are so good." We actually showed our parents, which is really funny. And then they recommended that we go record with Mark at Jurassic Studios. So Kevin and I drove out there, just the two of us. He recorded the drums, and then I did the guitars, bass, vocals, and the three of us did the group chants, and all came together in like 2 days. And it was pretty crazy. Like, we were literally like making up some of the lyrics and kind of rewriting some of the songs like on the drive out. So it was quite an experience. It felt like a real studio get together, like a studio writing session. But I have a couple fun facts that I want to share about Head Above Water since it's been 10 years, and I was just like thinking back on some of the stuff. So, so I'll start with Recalibrate and Celebrate. That was the first song we wrote off this little album. And when we wrote this, it was actually Matt was still in the band, and it was actually like about he and I, our relationship. Just I was in school at the time and leaving every weekend, or every weekend I'd come home and we'd be playing a ton of shows, and I'd leave and have to go back to school, and it was like kind of boring because there weren't really that many people to talk to, like when you go away to college and you don't really have friends to talk to. Matt and I used to always talk about just like tons of stuff, politics and religious views and stuff, because at the time he was very religious. Spoiler alert, not anymore. And but that's where the lyric came from, where I said, "I have faith in nothing, just like you, but I'm pessimistic and you keep praying like a fool." So like, I also have faith in nothing because I'm pessimistic. So I thought that was a really fun lyric. And the other one, though, that has stuck with me for a really long time is, "We promised that we'd never change, and since then I've never been the same." Because back then, none of us drank or of course, like did any drugs or any of that stuff. Some people call it straight edge. I just call it whatever, just being me. But I still don't drink, never have to this day. And I know the other dudes do, and that's cool. It's like, whatever. But that lyric, I mean, it's just that one lyric has stuck with me, and that kind of like lifestyle stuck with me. So always had a special place for me. So one of the other fun things about that song was the outro has this like really crazy, weird, like drum part that has this effect on it. And when we were in the studio, we were trying to replicate it, and we just couldn't figure it out. It just, nothing sounded the way that our original demo did. So that's where the original effect came from. And it was just like a garage band effect or something. So we left the studio, and Mark was mixing stuff and sent us a couple of the tracks, and we're like, this just doesn't sound like what our demo sounded like. So we actually just sent him the demo, and he cut it all up and like popped it into the song, slowed it down to like change it to the right beat, and then it just fit and sounded perfect. So the drums that you hear in the outro of Recalibrate and Celebrate actually were from our original demo, which is pretty crazy. The song name, I wish I had more info about this, but I definitely remember watching a lot of Conan O'Brien at the time, and he, for some reason, was doing some monologue and said "recalibrate and celebrate." It comes from that. If you can figure out what episode it's from, that'd be cool, because I wasn't sure. So the next song, Avalon, was also the next song that we wrote. It was written when I was on vacation in Avalon, New Jersey, hence the name. And actually, I wrote the lead to that, and I couldn't really figure out like what rhythm that I wanted to go along with it. And it just so happened, Derek Baker, shout out, was at the beach along with us, and I like made him strum along the rhythm while I played the lead, and we kind of like figured it out together. But once that came together, the rest of the song was like a piece of cake. It just all fit together immediately. But I brought it back and showed the rest of the band, and I like really wanted to write the song because I had it all in my mind. Like I knew what I wanted it to be. And Kevin fought me on it for like months. We would jam it like at the end of practice because I'd be like, dude, can we try this new song? And he just never liked it. And for whatever reason, at one point, it just kind of clicked and we figured out what we wanted to make of it. And he loved it. I would go as far as to say as it might have been his favorite song. Because once we kind of figured out the punk beat thing, which was a little bit of a new type of beat for us, he was just like super into it. Other dumb fact about this one, man, I was not a great singer 15 years ago at this point. It was probably that long ago, but this song was always like way too high for me. So we actually played this one on a different guitar, and I dropped my guitar down to C so I could sing it. Most of our stuff we didn't drop C sharp anyway, just because we thought that sounded cool, because we were cool like that when we were in our early 20s. One of the cool lyrics from this is you can run and hide, but you can't do both at the same time. And that's actually a quote from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. If you want, I think it's during the credits. It might just be somewhere in the middle of the movie, but there's like a scene from Sarah Marshall's like crime show where Alec Baldwin or whatever, his character is like they're investigating some animal crime or something weird, but he goes, you can run and hide, but you can't do both at the same time. I just thought it was hilarious, so I put that in. So what the song's really about, though, is actually this was, I think, like the first summer that my dad wasn't with us on our family vacation because he and my parents got divorced, and that's basically what the song is about. You can listen to it and figure it out. But so that's Avalon in a nutshell. The last song, How to Fight Something That Eats Planets, that song name, I believe, is from a Fantastic Four movie. I think it's when they're going to fight Galactus. Someone's just like, how do you fight something that eats planets? I don't know who says it. Probably the Flame Dude or whatever. I don't know a whole lot about Fantastic Four, but we always watch movies together, and then, like many dumb pop punk bands, we had stupid names for all of our songs that had nothing to do with the song itself. So that's where that one came from. And this one was weird because it this was actually written probably like a year after Recalibrate, and at this point Matt wasn't in the band anymore, and we kind of had like a falling out. And so it was actually written about Matt, also using lyrics that Matt used to, like lines that he used to say all the time. So he used to always like complain about people. We weren't huge fans of People, but he used to always complain about people saying that he'd like lowered the bar to the ground and they still keep tripping over it. As in like he just lowered his standards so much and people still couldn't live up to his standards. So the one line is, how's that even go? Lowered the bar to the ground. You keep tripping on the bar that we lowered to the ground for you. Man, it's been 10 years. But anyway, so it's kind of funny that we like used Matt's line in a song about Matt. But hey, Matt and I are like best friends now. He's my bro. So most of the song, when we were writing it, we just like ad-libbed it completely in the basement one night. At that point, Andy Mathias was in the band, and he was playing bass. I was on guitar, Kevin was on drums, there was a couple other people there, and we just like jammed it from beginning to end. And the structure and everything just like kind of came together. I remember everybody just being like, wow, that was cool. Like, we completely made it up on the spot. However, we rewrote a lot of it. So on the drive out to Chicago, like Kevin was driving and I was on my laptop and we had recorded a demo in GarageBand, and I was like slicing stuff and moving it around and like writing lyrics and rewriting lyrics. And it was like the night before that I was still writing lyrics, and we had no idea how we actually wanted to do it. I think the drum fill going into the verse out of the intro, it's like the first time Kevin had ever played it because he was still trying to like figure out what he wanted to do there. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Just wanted to give you some fun facts. There's actually, I'll post a link. There's a band camp. We have a band camp with all of our music, but there's like a demos thing, and some of these songs have demos on there of just like different arrangements. Recalibrate, for example, had like a different intro where we originally had like an intro instead of going directly into the verse, which we eventually just cut out, but it kind of sounded cool. We never really did anything with it. So I'll post a link to that. But hey guys, that's all I really wanted to say. I just think it's so crazy that we have music that's 10 years old, and even before that, I mean, man, Manhattan, I don't even know how much earlier that was. It was probably 15 years ago that we put that out. I still love that music. Definitely wish I had a chance to keep playing it. Would love to get back together with these guys and jam sometime or get a show together. But hey, let us all know how you're doing. Please reach out. Let us know if you still have the album. If you don't, check it out on Bandcamp. Buy it, or I'll give it to you for free. I don't care. I just hope that you have it. You can listen to it. Hope you're all doing well. See ya.